An eviction crisis for black women, USA Today. Now I'm going to show you how they socially engineer this, folks. Imagine you missed a rent payment. Now, of course, they're going through this after the reconstruction of corporations after March 2020, when they made people believe that things would go back to normal. Gave you stimulus checks and all that, thinking that you're not going to have to pay anything when it's all said and done. Things will go back to normal. I'll go back to business as usual. Maybe you lost your job. I wonder why. Or you had some car trouble. Or you got sick. Any of these reasons could become grounds of an eviction. Now, no other people are singled out based on them being female and black when it comes to other races. You'll never see an article like this on Chinese women or white women or any other ethnicity or Arab women. They've created a separate social status for our women. If you're a black woman in the United States, your chance of being evicted is higher than any other demographic. Now look, you try to talk to your landlord, right? You move out, you fight the eviction, you run into some snags along the way. You show up in court and your landlord has an attorney and you do not. 90% of landlords have legal representation compared to 10% of tenants. How do you wish to respond? I try to give my landlord partial rent. See, this was the play when they rolled out, Elder Lawya, feminism. They knew eventually they would make such a toxic environment between black man and black woman, but there would be no one to save our sisters at the end of it if there was a participation in the social engineering.
Right.
The effects on you and your family can be devastating. Now you notice it's showing family with no man there. This is what they social engineered. Now, it puts you at risk of ending up homeless, in prison, or dead. This was the plan, folks. But then, folks, I need y'all to show this. When it comes time to show the image of the people who will be getting the subsidies and the finances for what she went through, and I love all the 12 tribes. Listen, I'm down with our people. But they don't show her getting the subsidies. They show the immigrants. Because they're letting you know, you may go hard in the paint for them, but at the end, the money is going into the replacements. Look at this, brothers and sisters. The growing racial, now this is National Library of Medicine, folks. Okay, usually I pull out a lot of this research for the academy and do things like that. But, I need to give y'all a window into the perspectives we bring in such a short amount of time, folks, in connecting these dots. The growing racial and ethnic divide in U.S. marriage patterns. When you go here, brothers and sisters, right, they break it down all the way down, right? But I need y'all to see something real quick. Under the National Library of Medicines, when you go down here and it talks about the growing racial and ethnic divide in U.S. marriage patterns, they've been studying their social engineering of separating our people. You want to destroy a family and desolate them and destroy them outright? You would bring a divide that would lead to what? The family no longer existing. That's social warfare, right? And they even went into this. black and white differences in marriage and marital stability, right? Now, let's talk about the contemporary differences. Check this out. There's a study. At the same time, racial and ethnic differences in marriage are striking. The median age at first marriage is roughly 4 years higher. 4 years higher for black than for white women. Right? At first, marriage is roughly 4 years higher for black than white women. 30 versus 26 years. Respectively, in 2010, all ages of black Americans display lower marriage rates than do other racial and ethnic groups. Consequently, a far lower proportion of black women have married at least once by age 40. Our tabulations of data from the U.S. Census Bureau's American Community Survey for 2008 to 12 show that nearly 9 out of 10 white and Asian Pacific Island women had ever been married by their early 40s, as had more than 8 in 10 Hispanic women and more than 3/4 of American Indian Native Alaskan women, yet fewer than 2/3 of black women. Less than 2/3 of black women reported having married at least once by the same age. So they socially engineered this, folks, because at one time there was no divorce amongst us, and we married at a higher clip, 80% than any other ethnicity in America. So they purposely sold a bill of goods that would have it where there's no protection for our sisters in the community, and there will be no one who want to protect them. That's how they socially engineer it. While they bring in the replacements to police our neighborhoods. At the same time, Biden, who came up with the crime bill, construct a new way to incarcerate those that are left, or the men that are left, or at least the ones who haven't been feminized. Now, here's the issue. Now. Bear with me. The issue is, if they have this data, folks, concerning the separation, homelessness, total destruction, degradation. If you type in Section 8, homelessness, there's a war on sisters, single sisters in particular, and there'll be no one there to help them. There'll be no one there outside of them cleaving to some type of construct or community that can actually help as we go along. Okay? Like churches. But all in all, brothers and sisters, they're dropping sisters from the corporate structure who once had those high-end jobs and replacing them with Asians, throwing them back into a impoverished state with no answers. This is what you call, folks, a desolation. And then on the other hand, Lawya, I'm going to show you how they engineered this. On the other hand, because men are fed up, who would normally be there, it was all socially engineered. Black men, we need to leave America. At the same time, there's a movement for brothers to leave the country to find traditionally minded women. traditionally minded. They just want people with a family. Now, the difference between the men that Biden is talking about locking up, these are men with upward mobility. These are men that have the wherewithal and finances to go other places. And they no longer want to participate with the social engineered families that they're actually forced, or they feel forced to deal with. A relationship where there's no cooperation. You got to argue over everything. And when you just want marriage and you just want a simple life. Well, the men with upward mobility, it was engineered because they knew it would come a time when men would say enough is enough. I can't be getting locked up. I can't be getting dragged into this place to do this all the time. I'm tired. They knew that at the same time that they were bringing the replacements to replace our women, that the men would be seeking other places. And at the end of the day, it's sad. Why? Because the true aim is not the man and woman or the adult at all. It's your offspring. What of the children? Now that there's total separation, where we've been social engineered into not even being able to stand one another. This is where we are, folks. And it's not about right or wrong or where, folks. I'm putting this out so that we can make choices now, knowing that there's no recovering Babylon. There's no recovering this. It's too far gone. They did so many, folks. They fixed so many of their social mechanisms or their social attacks during that 2020 thing, and got the ball rolling. They say, okay, sisters, we already got your men, but we about to attack you now. There's only limited jobs, and that's what. We're opening the borders to all these East Indians and other people, Asia and all and they're going to have the desk jobs, the bank jobs, and all these other things. And hey, this was the plan the whole time. At the same time, men are walking out of the door and saying, I don't want what they're forced on us. That's the plan. We don't want the conflict anymore. We don't want the conflict anymore. We're walking away. So this is going to lead to a social cataclysm of biblical proportions. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited.